Where obviously we don't trust Facebook now, and everything horrible thing you thought they did something way more horrible with it. My favorite is, who uses an Android phone in here? I'm an iPhone guy. Does anyone use an Android phone? Well, Martin, they've read every text message you've ever sent. I mean, that's crazy. Every message you've ever sent and every message I ever would have conceivably sent you, they've read that of mine. And they just did it, and they just could. So we were having a whole discussion about like privacy, and I was like, I'm in the camp that says that there's no such thing as informed consent when it comes to online data, because they're merging it with so many data sets. There's no way for you to possibly use and consent to how it's being used. In November 2012, like the day after Obama got reelected, I saw this presentation at a futurist conference on using Twitter bots you basically would drop in anonymous Twitter bots. You wouldn't say they were bots, but they would talk to people, and those people would start talking to each other. They get wired together, and then you could just turn the bots off, and people would keep talking to each other. It was amazing. You could create communities online. And then I talked to the guy who created it, Tim Wong. He's a famous internet prankster. And he's like, yeah, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get TaskRabbit, and we're gonna have the bots talk to TaskRabbit and have it organize a party for all the people. So we'll bring them together in real life. I'm like, great, this is gonna be amazing. And I followed up with him over the years, and he never really did it. And then, then I was stunned and horrified to read about the Russians who basically used the same mechanism to create anti-immigrant protests, where the protesters on both sides were unwittingly organized by Russian Twitter bots. And I'm like, wow, we've arrived at dystopia without ever actually going through like the Malcolm Gladwell, like, here's how your business can use the thing. So Sidewalk is part of creating the Keysight development here. They developed a planning tool called Replica, which is taking ambient data from your Android phones, by the way, and which, although they won't admit it, but it's taking it from Android and using it to show like, here's the number of cyclists on this route, et cetera. Yeah, and so what's the number one criticism I have of that plan? Well, great, now you see the wealthy people who own Android phones, so you're gonna plan for them. Like, this is not participatory in the slightest, and it has major methodological problems, to which Sidewalk is like, well, that's great, we only want to plan this for wealthy white people anyway, so that's fine. And there's a great short film, which I highly recommend to anybody, called Hyperreality, which is like 6 minutes, and it's set in Medellin, and it's beautiful, and it like gets at all of the beauty and creepiness of it, of like, where your reality is layered over with like, so you can imagine like, if you need to clear the street glows with various letters, you're on a bus, it tells you exactly where to get off and does this, but it's also like, it's like living in a slot machine where there's like constantly things in your eyesight kind of going on. And not to give anything away, but there's an identity theft is at the crux of the film, and gets into like online reputation. And then the sadder thing to me, and this comes up in a VR film too, or AR film, is do we start stripping the physical world of all of its beauty because you just have screens in front of you all the time?